Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to this ATR Exclusive. Now, when you think of New Jersey, there's a few names that come to mind. And our guest this evening is, I would say, a fan favorite. It doesn't matter if she's in ISPW Ring, Brii Combination, Pro Wrestling Magic, or the 800 other companies that she is a part of. She gets cheered no matter what. I personally, and I said this when I put out the post, to me, she's on the Mount Rushmore of New Jersey women's wrestling. The one, the only, Vicious Vicki. Vicki, how you doing tonight?
I'm great. Now that's what I'm talking about. The Mount Rushmore of New Jersey indie wrestlers. I'm okay with that.
Because I'll be honest, I've seen you wrestle now about 2 years now. It's been almost 2 years that I've seen you wrestle now, and I said this when you were doing that whole, when you first introduced the new character that I don't think anybody really knew what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
It definitely made for some intriguing matches because I'm sitting there and I think I had watched, I wasn't there for the debut, but I was there for one of, the ones right after. I'm looking at him like, she's trying to be the Undertaker. But it to me, and I'm not trying to put down the character.
No.
Didn't work. It's kind of weird for me because the fans cheer for you.
Yep. Story of my life. Not a bad problem to have, but story of my life.
Oh no, not a bad problem because I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to be, from the devil, devil and all that stuff. But it's like you're one of the few wrestlers who you can try to be the bad guy, but the fans will never see you as the bad guy.
No. It's crazy. I don't know, man. That's been pretty much the story of my life for the last 6 years. Like, it's just, and I'm okay with it, man. I roll with it. I got the best fans in the world.
Yes, yeah, and including the Front Row Mafia.
Yes, gotta love. Shout out to the Front Row Mafia, my dudes.
But before we get into ISPW and Pro Wrestling Magic, I want to kind of dive into Vicious Vicki herself. For people who are watching this who may not know who Vicious Vicki is, and obviously at this point, if you live in the tri-state area and you're a pro wrestling fan, you should kind of know who Vicious Vicki is. But who is Vicious Vicki?
Oh, you're asking me. Okay. Vicious Vicki the character, or Vicious Vicki the real Vicious Vicki?
No, the one we see in the ring.
Vicious Vicki is a manifestation of a childhood dream of a girl who's been burned, a girl who has literally fought from nothing and made herself something, a girl who has so much to prove, who kicks ass, who will literally rip your face off, but will probably help you put it back on later on. That's Vicious Vicki.
Yeah, I could see you being that type of person where it's like, yeah, I just beat you up, but do you want some ice?
Yep. That is Vicious Vicki for sure.
Yeah, that I can definitely see. But let's start off with Brii Combination. Then, like I said, we'll dive into the other.
Yeah.
You have held that title now for 400 days.
Yeah, over 400 now. It's definitely like 440 or something like that at this point.
I guess I'm gonna kind of throw you the first hardball question. Are you ready mentally, being that you have now Christina Marie, down the road, you now have Notorious Mimi, and you also have Faye Jackson, who at the last show basically said she wants that title back.
Yeah.
So how what's going through your mind knowing that you basically, you defeat one of them, okay, you have another one. What's going through your mind with that? So
for the likes of Faye Jackson, she's a veteran and she's, held that title as well, and it's a prestigious honor to hold the belt that she held. And I understand, she was the queen of the castle, man, and rightfully so. And I'm always ready for a fight. So I'm gonna pull out my Becky Lynch and say that I'm always looking for a fight right here because it's the truth, Mimi, I'm no stranger to Mimi. I've wrestled Mimi 8,000 times. And I know that she's at the top of her game right now. I'm at the top of my game right now. So to me, that would be a very interesting match. Christina Marie, on the other hand, I have not stepped foot in a ring with her at all yet. And crazy to think 6 years in the same circuit and I have not touched her. She's someone that I definitely would like to get in the ring with. So to have all these ladies who are kind of like barking at my title, looking for it, I'm always ready, you know, no matter who it's going to be. We could flip a coin and figure out who it's going to be. I'm ready.
Yeah, and especially somebody like Faye Jackson, who we saw at the last show, can do some damage to her opponent. I'll put it to you this way, because I personally think you will get through all three of them and still hold the title when it's all said and done. You're going to be basically, I'll put it this way, it won't be easy. I think is the best way I can put it.
I agree. I don't think it's going to be an easy feat at all with either one of those women. You know, and I'm prepared. I'm prepared to give it my all, like always.
Now, I know, you've been with Mark Schwann now and I know at the last show, I don't know if it was the last show or the January show, maybe in the January show, where you guys had a little bit of an issue, a brew.
Yeah, we had a little banter, if you will, a little issue. My only issue with Mark was I told him not to get up on the apron. He got up on the apron because he was trying to help me win, and I missed him in the face. And he got in the way. And I felt bad that I missed him in the face, but he didn't listen to me. We got through it. We got past it. Water under the bridge, moving forward. Mark's my right hand right now. So
Hey, I think the pairing of you two has been incredible. And it's really, it's kind of, it's almost like, I would say it's almost like Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar, but I don't think that's a good comparison.
That's a strong comparison.
My point is this. I'm going to backtrack on my statement there for a second, but my point is this. You very rarely see a strong combo of a manager, a wrestler, especially on the independents with, everybody's schedule and all that stuff. So the fact that you and Mark have been able to make something of this, I think that's the way I want to go with it.
For sure.
And I think, honestly, the fact that, Brii Combination was the first independent company I saw 2 years ago, actually.
Wow.
And yeah, I remember the show very famously. It did not have a bottom rope. That was my first introduction to indie wrestling. No bottom rope.
Love it.
So then it was funny because I was at a show recently that the middle rope broke.
Nice.
I'm like, great. So now I'm just missing this top rope to be gone, and I would have gotten the trifecta.
You would have seen everything. Oh,
yeah, that's a nice way to put it. But I honestly will say this much: in the almost 2 years that I've been going to Brii Combination, you are definitely one of the key components.
Thank you.
Of it. You definitely are one of the key components because of the fact that you put on great matches, but then when you go on the mic, and I remember there was a show, I don't remember if it was Brie or maybe Magic actually, where you cut the promo. It was recently, and I was like, is this the start of a heel turn here? Because I think maybe when you first came back from your injury recently. And maybe that.
Oh wait, was it after my match with Gangone? Maybe,
yeah. I think that was the one.
Okay.
Yeah, and yes, that's the other thing. Also, you bring up your matches with Gangone. I actually, when Gangone was on, I said it to him, and I want to say this to you as well. That was one of the best matches I've ever seen.
Really? Yeah. I'll take that.
The storytelling between the two of you, I legit thought at certain points you were going to beat him. I really thought that. I thought it would have been weird for him then to challenge for the BCW women's title, but
yeah. Hey, it's 2024. We can do whatever the hell we want.
Exactly. But like I said, we had this. You have this stuff with Brie. I want to jump into Magic here because I feel like there's been a little bit more of an issue of brewing in Magic. if that's the right way to put it, because it seems like Rebecca Scott has been MIA. I know she's going to be on the June 8th show, but she seems to be MIA. And I don't know how many more opponents management has to put you through till you get that opportunity again.
I don't know, man. I show up, I show out, I do what I got to do, and you know, I'm a fighting champion, right? So if I have a title, if I'm a champion of company ABCD, I gotta go to ABCD on a Saturday. I gotta figure it out. I'm a champion.
I mean, maybe just throwing it out there, it could be that Rebecca Scott's afraid of you. I'm just throwing it out there.
We had a little, moment together. We had some, maybe some fights. We've had some matches where there was a match where I had a tag with her. When I made my debut back, I came back and I was this dark, defiant creature, and she was my first victim.
Yeah, that was if I remember correctly, that was you and Rebecca versus JC and Adina.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's actually the funny thing is that was the last. I think that was the last Pro Wrestling Magic show I was at.
Yeah, that was a good show too.
But yeah, I remember that because I thought the pairing of the two of you, I was like, this isn't going to work out.
No, I did what I had to do, right? We got through it.
Yeah, you had, but I just think realistically, again, I'm not speaking from any insider knowledge. I have none. But to me, I think Rebecca is afraid because she knows when she does get into the ring with you finally, she's not going to be walking out with that title. Just saying.
Maybe. You know what? I'm just going to keep showing up until I end up with that title. That's really all I could do.
Yeah. Hey, you, like I said, when it comes to any of the Jersey companies, I know we've talked about two of them already, you are definitely one of the bigger parts of those companies, to say the least.
I'll take that compliment because I feel that I've earned that.
No, you definitely have. And I've even seen it because I still remember the match you had. Oh God, this might have been one of my first Pro Wrestling Magic shows I was at, where it was you and JC Storm. And it was, I don't remember the stipulation, but I remember there was doors involved. Maybe in an OTP match.
Yeah, we had a street fight.
Yeah, and from that match to now, you, like I said, you have become one of my favorite wrestlers especially in New Jersey.
Thank you. I'll take that compliment.
Yeah, you definitely. And I've said this, and I put a post out about this. I think the end of last year. You're not only do you put on good matches, but you tell good stories, even with the promos that you do. Like I sit there, but like I'll sit there now and I'll be scrolling through Facebook or scrolling through X, and I happen to come across Pro Wrestling Magic and I see Vicious Vicki on the mic. I'm like, okay, what does she have to say? Like I'll stop what I'm doing. Like, okay, what does she have to say? And a lot of times I sit there and go, she has a point.
Yeah.
She has a point. But now, when you see obviously younger fans now who say that to you, obviously I can say that to you for the entire interview, but obviously it must make you feel great when you get like the 8-year-old little girl who's saying it to you, because you can almost look at it as that was me several years ago. Does that make sense? Oh
yeah. No, I love, I'm very lucky that I have the fan base that I do. Those are probably the number one thing that keeps me going and makes me want it more, because I was that little girl or that little kid, like once upon a time, watching their favorite wrestler, and to be on an indie level and to have those kinds of fans that are so like diehard for you. It's freaking awesome, So I'm very lucky.
No, and I mean I've seen it where as soon as your music hits, the crowd, you don't even have to walk past the curtain. You just hear the music. Well, actually, I want to dive into that for a second because I know recently I think you had put out something that you're having music now done by Downstate, the same band that does Cody's music.
Yes. So it's I do use the song now. So the song that I have is by Downstate. Yeah.
How did that whole thing come to fruition?
Just known people. No. I just kind of just reached out to them, and I was like, hey guys, like, what do you think of this? And formed a relationship and a little bit of a bond. And, now I have these new friends and a really kick-ass entrance song that will be available at some point for streaming. The song's really good. It's really good. And it's a full song, it's not just generic entrance song. It's a song about my life. I got to know them. I told them about my life and, what message I was trying to tell in the song, and they freaking nailed it. So,
I mean, it's cool though if if there's ever a trivia question, 10 years from now, what does Vicious, Vicki, and Cody Rhodes have in common? That was their entrance.
hell yeah. Let's go. And don't forget, they did The Miz, they did Alex Riley, they did Zack Ryder, but also Matt Cardona, they did Chelsea Green, they did Nick Nemeth, they did, oh my God, they did so many. Buddy
and
Murphy.
But now you get to add yourself to that list.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm very lucky. I'm glad that I got hooked up with them. They're really good dudes. If you're not following Downstate, go do that.
Oh, I definitely. It's funny. A lot of songs on my playlist are Downstate.
They're so good.
And even I'll even be at work and I'll have the Cody Rhodes entrance music on.
Best song in the world.
And when they do the whoa, I'll literally sit there and do the whoa.
Oh, you have to. How do you not? Oh my
and
gosh.
The guys will look at me and go, "What the hell did you just do?" I'm like, "You're not a wrestling fan.
You will
Don't
never
worry."
understand. Yeah.
I'm like, wrestling fans have a crazy thing when it comes to this song. They're like, okay, we're not going to question you.
That is very true. Yes, we're all hooked on that for sure.
I mean, sometimes they'll look at me and be like, and they'll start asking me questions about stuff with wrestling. I'm like, I'm not an expert.
That's fair for them to assume, though, I would think.
Oh, I appreciate it, but I'm looking at them. I'm like, nope. I'm like, the guy you want to talk to, his name is Dave Meltzer, not me.
There you go.
But I want to dive into ISPW. Then I also want to dive into. I know you did not with the current tour, but you were on with the original last match. I kind of want to get your thoughts on that. With ISPW, I know you dropped the title to Ava Everett. Then you won it back, and I think also now you also won the Queen of ISPW. Now, if I said that correctly.
Yes. So at 80s Wrestling Con, they had the big rock and wrestling show, and I won my title back, but we had a crown on a pole match, which if you're a lifelong fan, just think back to Mankind and The Rock with the pink slip on a pole match. I don't know, that's pretty much what it was. And we were crowning, even though I am the queen of ISPW, it's very, very apparent. We had a match to like really set the tone and really have the inaugural queen of ISPW, which was me. And I'm also the inaugural ISPW Women's Champion. So I have 2 titles there now.
I mean, isn't that kind of well known at this point? Even if that you even let's say in some hypothetical world that you didn't win it, the fans already know you're the queen of ISPW. So
correct. So then it would be bull crap if I didn't.
But looking at ISPW now, obviously you just went through Ava Everett. Is there anybody on the ISPW roster that you have your eyes set on that you would like to get into the ring with?
Yes, all the men. I believe that I have earned my right, and maybe one day could be a ISPW tri-state champion or a heavyweight champion. It's 2024. Anything can happen.
Hey, I think a match with you and Rick Recon would definitely be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Or I mean, I still remember, and this is gonna be funny. I still remember at the last ISPW show was the Total a Day show, which was last May, I think.
June.
June, yeah.
I think it's in June because this year is in June 8th actually.
And I don't remember who you were supposed to face, but I think you ended up facing I think
MSG.
Max, yeah, MSG.
Max St. Giovanni, Moonshot. Sorry,
yeah,
I like saying that.
And I mean, with him, and I remember just watching, listening to your promo, and like I said, it was over a year ago, but I remember listening to it. I'm like, yeah, I feel sorry for whoever comes out. I feel sorry for whoever comes out. Because one thing I've learned, you don't want to piss off a woman from New Jersey. Trust
me. Italian woman.
Oh, God, that's even worse.
Exactly.
That's even, yeah, you might as well, and this is a PSA to all guys out there. If you piss off an Italian woman from New Jersey, you might as well just sign your death warrant right there and then.
just run.
Just call it what it is. But no, I could definitely see you being in the ring with a lot of the men, because I think honestly, you are one of the few that you get into the ring with, with the Rick Recon, with the GKM. I think you can have a real banger of a match, to say the least.
So too. One of the best matches I ever had was with Chris Steeler at Warriors of Wrestling. We had like 2 matches, and I won the No Limits title from him. And that was literally one of the best matches I ever had in my career. Like it was just good. It just flowed. I've known Steeler since I was like 10 because I've been watching indie wrestling since I was a kid. So I know a lot of these guys, but yeah, it was easily one of the best 2 matches I ever had. It was an intergender match, and then for a while I wasn't really into it. I was very like, all right, like the girls wrestle the girls, guys wrestle guys, but it's a different era, and who's to say that I can't hang with the guys, So
I think the one match that would definitely be interesting is you versus Vargas, to say the least.
That would be interesting. Yes, I might run from that one, but yeah.
The other ones I could see you put up a good fight. Vargas, I could see there being like, nope, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Even somebody like me, and I'm not a wrestler at all. Even somebody like me, I would sit there if I had to get into the ring with Vargas, because I have a lot of people who, actually some of them as well, one of them being Ryan Peterson, who loves to always joke with me about saying stuff to Vargas to try to piss him off to get him to come after me. And I'm like, nope, I'm good. I'm good in that department. I will pass on that one.
Yeah, no, we're not going to mess with
No.
We're not going to Vargas.
No. But I know you've done this stuff with the last match, and they just completed the tour.
Yeah.
What was the experience like being a part of that inaugural run before they went on tour?
Yeah, and I'm kind of bummed that I had an opportunity. Of course, they asked me to come back for one of the nights. I couldn't. I was supposed to, but I actually had an opportunity for something that I had to say yes to. Let's put it that way. So it was for good reasons that I didn't attend. But I was a little bummed about it. But the first ever was awesome. I was literally the first ever announcement, and I hold that near and dear to my heart. Thank you to Jeremiah for that, because it was just really cool to be a part of that and just have that on my resume, like that I was a part of that class and being able to do that. And at the time, I was battling a lot of anxiety and a lot of issues at that time. And the first showing of the musical, I sprained my ankle the night before, or the week before, or the night before. I think it was the night before. Really bad. Like, I thought I broke my foot. And I did that whole play, two showings of it, with a severe sprained ankle. Worst pain I ever felt in my life, but I did it because I was not gonna fucking not do it. I was like, I'm not gonna not do this. I'm like, so I freaking taped my ankle up. I took as much Tylenol as I could without dying, and went out there and did my thing, man. So
now, for the people who, obviously, if you're a wrestling fan and you're a fan of Broadway, you definitely should know about it. But for the people who may not know about it, what just kind of explain a little bit about the whole premise of the play.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is the coolest thing. So basically, it's mixing rock music, a musical, Broadway, and pro wrestling, and it's immersive. So instead of your traditional Broadway or musical of just being in the crowd watching, and not reacting, it's immersive. It's a lot. It's basically a live wrestling show with live music and singing. It's insane. It's really really one of the most amazing concepts I've ever heard of in my life.
And I'm actually bummed I did not get a chance to see it when they were in Jersey, or they did their
Yeah.
second, their
I'm
tour.
sure they're gonna tour again. They might go on a different coast. They might go on the West Coast this time. I have no idea. I don't know anything. Um, it'll do well. This is too good to not continue. So you'll catch it.
Oh, I said this after, it must have been because like I said, I had not got a chance to see, but I've seen pictures and I've heard some of the music. It may have been after this show they did in Queens, or it was the show they did in Albany. I don't remember which one. I said to Ryan, who's a Broadway, I call him a Broadway nut at this point. I said, watch the last match be one of those shows that make it to Broadway in the next probably 2 or 3 years.
I could see it 100%. It's really that good. Yeah, for sure.
No, and with that type of play though, it's almost like you don't have to be a wrestling fan
Exactly.
to go. I mean, it's the same thing, not on the same level, but it's the same thing with the Iron Claw movie that just came out in December.
Great movie.
Probably one of my favorite movies of all time, to say the least.
Yeah, great movie.
And I had somebody at work recently who said to me, they're like, I seen this movie Iron Claw. Like, do you know anything about it? And I looked at them. I'm like, I'm a wrestling fan. You're asking me if I know anything about the Iron Claw. I'm like, yes, I saw it when I saw it. I think opening night.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the one comment I said to them was, if you're gonna go see it, and it's to anybody else who, if you haven't had a chance to see it, you are going to cry. Trust me on that.
100% cry. Yes, that is a fact.
And you can go watch that movie, and you know nothing about pro wrestling, but just the story. And I sort of relate this back to pro wrestling because it's storytelling at its finest.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'll be honest, I didn't know a lot about the story beforehand, but doing some research prior to it and kind of, watching some of the videos, I was like, yeah. But then when I saw the movie, it took me to a whole nother level, to say the least.
Oh, for sure, dude.
But like I said though, Vicki, the door is always open for you. Come back on.
Oh, of course. I appreciate that.
The doors open. And like I said, it can be for one of your, and I joke about the 9,000 promotions, but I'm actually very proud of the fact that you're in so many different promotions and so many fans get a chance to see you in action.
Oh, man, I try, man. I try to get around. I try to go everywhere. I think that I'm very lucky to have the fans that I do and to have the following that I do. I just love wrestling, and I try to stay busy.
I know, I absolutely. I got 2 final questions for you. First question is, do you still have that dream opponent that you would still like to face?
Yes. Charlotte Flair, because I just think she's amazing, and Lita. And I only say that because, I mean, she's my favorite in the world. But it's almost like I'd rather be her, like a tag team with her than face her. But to get in the ring with Lita would be amazing.
Oh, I can easily see. I can easily see a match between you and her very easily. Steve, offer any of the Jersey companies, book that.
Yeah, right. I wish.
It may cost a little pretty
I was
penny,
gonna
but
say it's not gonna be cheap, but yeah.
like I said, I know you're a part of Pro Wrestling Magic, you're part of Brii, you're part of ISPW. Are there any other companies in? I would say the tri-state area, but let's go bigger than that. Is there any other? Well, yeah, let's go tri-state area. Are there any other companies in the tri-state area that you have your eyes set on that you would like to work with at some point?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to like dip my toe into to a couple places like MCW. I've wrestled there in Maryland a few times. They're a really great company to be a part of. Wrestling Open, Beyond. I've wrestled there a few times last year. I'm definitely going to try to get out there again this year. Um, Black Label Pro is definitely one I'm trying to get on. There's a few that I'm trying to like really get out of this area just to kind of branch out a bit. Shine in Florida. So this year I'm really trying to focus on like getting out of New Jersey. Not forever, just to start testing the waters in other places because I think that'll be good for me.
Oh no, I think two other companies that I think you would do great in, and I might have some connections to these two companies, is Blitzkrieg Pro in Connecticut,
Yeah, that's one too. Yeah.
and the other one is the Dynasty.
Yes. Yeah.
The
And
Dynasty.
Battleground was a goal. So I'm glad I'm gonna be July 6th, Tasha Steeles. That'll be great.
I was just actually about to get to that because you and I are both going to be making our debuts, obviously in different areas, but we're both going to be making our debuts.
Yeah, man, it'll be
In
great.
that thing.
Very, very excited to debut for Battleground for sure.
Oh no, absolutely. And I'm very excited to be the one having the honor of being on call for that one.
Yeah, make me look good.
Oh, I will, but obviously, like I said before, you're always welcome to come back on anytime you like. Where can the fans find you, connect with you on social media, and what other shows you have coming up you like to promote?
Yes, so you can follow me at Vicious Vicky. There's like an underscore in there, but you'll find me. Um, and coming up, I have June 8th at Hinchcliffe Stadium. It's the Jackal Stadium for Pro Wrestling Magic. That day is also Toto a Day, where ISPW is having a show. Yeah, and then I post all my upcoming stuff on my socials. So I'm just going to give away my most recent. The week before Magic, I'll be in Indiana. So if anyone's listening that's in Indiana, I'll be in LaPel, Indiana on June 1st, making my
Definitely,
debut. So, yeah.
definitely sounds like a wrestling town, LaPel, Indiana.
Yeah, right. And it's
Does,
at a
doesn't
brewery.
doesn't sound as prestigious as Ridgefield Park, but it's definitely a wrestling town.
That's right.
But again, Vicki, I've said this to you before. I'm incredibly proud of the success that you've had,
Thank you.
and believe me, you know damn well this podcast will always be Vicious Vicki, a Vicious Vicki fan.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot.
And like I said, the door is always open for you whenever you like to. And actually, new rule I'm going to put out there right now. I'm not even going to leave the door open. I'm taking the door off the hinges.
Oh, that's sweet.
Like,
Everybody, come on in.
hey, that's what I try to do on the On the Ropes podcast. But again, Vicki,
Absolutely.
thank you so much for hopping on. I
Of
appreciate
course.
it a lot. For Vicious Vicki, I'm John. This has been an ATR exclusive right here on the Around the Ropes podcast. We'll catch you guys next time right here.
Peace.